a very common thing.
Saurabh.
Sorry.
Saurabh, I want to say let's start with the character because what Shubha was saying is we are jumping over the next section. That next section is characters, arc, and relationship, interpersonal relationship. Why? Because whatever the Shubha was trying to say was not less about the structure, more about the character. So, Saurabh, please carry on.
Sure. So if we talk about the characters, all of the films that we actually pick, the characters are always the start of flawed. And having a flawed character, see, flawed characters को की journey follow करना is not a very complicated thing. If you actually see even Dr. G, the character was pretty flawed to start off with, and he was almost like a male chauvinist person. And then we follow the character, but that's the thing. There are a lot of films where you actually start the journey with the flawed character. How you connect to the character is what, or you connect to the drive of the character is what matters. Now coming to the desire that he going to some nanny. Now that is the beauty of this film. I was thinking, why again Ashutosh Gowarikar hasn't made it a mother only, you know? एक माँ है जो वहां पर रह रही है, यहाँ नहीं आना चाहती इंडिया, उन्होंने नैनी क्यों बनाया? Why nanny? Why anyone will think about that? So if you think again, Kaveri Amma represents India, mother India. So there is a mother जिसने literally आपकी सेवा की होती है, वो आपकी माँ है, उसने आपको जन्म दिया है, ठीक है? But then there is another mother that we all have, that is the motherland. मदरलैंड ने आपको जन्म नहीं दिया होता है, लेकिन उसने आपकी बहुत सेवा की है, डायरेक्टली इनडायरेक्टली उसने आपको रेज किया है. And Kaveri Amma is representing that. And when you see, the character is actually going back not for the biological mother, but a non-biological mother. The writer was representing the fact that a person is going back for the motherland, the country. And that's what always Kaveri Amma represents to me. Kaveri also is the name of a river that, if you actually think in the south, is considered as a mother river. So in my head, that was a brilliant point that he was trying to make
Analogy, yeah.
by not putting it out as a mother and putting. What actually distracted you, Shubha, also disturbed me in the first watch. When I was watching, ये अपनी नैनी के लिए क्यों जाएगा वापस? And it always bothered me why he was so inconsistently going and trying to pursue to bring her back. But then the moment then I also realized that he is not a selfish character at all. क्योंकि अगर वो सिर्फ अपनी माँ के लिए वापस जा रहा होता, तो फिर हम उसे selfish बोल भी सकते थे.
Understand? And also I think it's a metaphor. Basically, it was a sense of homecoming because it was his destiny calling out to him. He had escaped something in his life and he had to meet it eventually. So I understand that subconsciously as well. Yeah, the only thing was कि starting में जब समझ नहीं आया ना, and it took too long to justify that for me. That was the thing. मतलब मेरे को लगा कि थोड़ा सा हो गया, entertaining और होना चाहिए, शायद something could have been there in the beginning, so maybe that's the only reason. But now that you say it, and especially in terms of motherland wala part, so yeah, it adds something to that. Right. It makes more sense.
Right. And
actually, the character was the drive of the character, Saurabh. If you go and watch the first scene again, and the drive of the character was more guilt and selfish. Like, he is feeling guilty for being selfish. That's what he's saying out loud. ऐसा नहीं कि उसने नहीं बोला. उसने बोला कि जब कावेरी अम्मा को मेरी जरूरत थी तब मैं उनके पास नहीं था. So he is feeling guilt. So definitely what he's doing is the biggest achievement of his day. ठीक है, आप जब सबसे ज्यादा खुश होते हो या आपने सबसे ज्यादा कुछ अचीव कर लिया होता है, उस टाइम आप गिल्ट पे भी सबसे ज्यादा आते हो क्योंकि आपने उसको अचीव करने के लिए बहुत सारी चीजें लाइफ में खोई होती हैं. तो at that guilt, probably what he's doing and going there was the reason was a guilt drive that he was in guilt. क्योंकि ना कावेरी अम्मा का कॉल आया उसके पास, ना किसी ने उसकी याद दिलाई, but he was in a guilt on the day of his achievement and that is driving him. So flawed character है, but उसकी drive जो है वो guilt based है.
I will just say one thing कि मोहन जो गौरव ने बोला, आई थिंक ही इज राइट, बट आई विल ऐड वन मोर थिंग. उसको गिल्ट है बट उसको मदरलैंड से अभी कोई प्यार नहीं है.
That's the journey. That's the journey. मदरलैंड से प्यार से वहां जाके होता है. या
आई थिंक सौरभ सर वाज मेंशनिंग कि वो मदरलैंड वाला एक एंगल है. उसको गिल्ट बस इतना है कि वो कावेरी अम्मा के लिए नहीं रह पाया जब उन्हें जरूरत थी, तो ही is realizing कि he was selfish. He is guilty about it, but he is giving no fucks about the country right now in the opening 20 minutes. So he is flawed in that way. He is selfish in that manner कि अपने guilt को थोड़ा सुधारने के लिए, अपने guilt को थोड़ा सा saturate करने के लिए, he is trying to get Kaveri Amma to US. He has no love for the country who has nurtured him. So in that way he is selfish also, but he is guilt ridden. गिल्ट रिडन नहीं, मतलब गिल्ट में भी है वो. तो पहले 20 मिनट आई थिंक इज परफेक्ट कैरेक्टर को डिपिक्ट करने के लिए, बिकॉज मोहन की वांट से लेके सब कुछ मुझे दिख रही है.
feel the character is selfish because अगर वो selfish होता तो जैसे जैसे I think initially वो career oriented था and he was missing the personal attachment part. There was no family in US. He was all alone. तो इसलिए maybe he was missing कावेरी अम्मा and he wanted to be back because he said कि with time मैंने touch lose कर दिया कावेरी अम्मा के साथ, so he was missing her. But when he came back उसने problem देखी initially when he was arguing with Gayatri कि system change नहीं हो सकता. She was saying मैं यहाँ रह के change कर रही हूँ. So he was okay. He was like कि ठीक है नहीं change हो रहा नहीं change हो रहा. But as Gayatri and Kaveri Amma told him कि नहीं change तो यहीं पे रह के करना पड़ेगा, वहां पे रह के change नहीं हो सकता. तो he was not selfish कि वो इस चीज को accept ना करे. वो चीज उसने वो एंगल से देखा ही नहीं था. तो but जब उसको introduce हुआ, so he was ready to accept it and he was ready to change it also. So he was not selfish in a way. He was not aware कि ये challenge है और मुझे I can help people.
Nice.
Of course, he was in another country, so he was attached with that country. He was part of that country. When he saw his own country,
Yeah, please.
I have a similar view, and I particularly for the first 10-20 minutes, when I was watching the movie, I noticed that he mentions very deeply that how his parents died. So you sort of start to build the connection that why Kaveri Amma was important to him, and he even said that after the funeral and so happened, it was they established that he has all the materialistic achievements with him, but there's an emotional void, and that's what Sakshi was also talking about. I think on a similar line, that the moment he said there is an emotional void and he wants that love back, and I didn't care enough, that's when he goes. So there is a bit of guilt and love both, I think. What his flaw was less of being selfish and more of sense of superiority. The choice that शुरू में वो country को थोड़ा look down upon करता है, he emphasizes that fact. His actions are denoting that. The mineral water का bottle, and when he's asked कि यहाँ जाओ, तो उसे बोलते हैं कि camper van में I want to sleep there. So there are many ways he is slightly hinting that this is not for me. I am here to take you along. You are very important. तो वो selfish नहीं हो रहा है, लेकिन उसे पता है कि this place is not for me, and that perspective changes. So he has been showed flawed, but not towards Kaveri Amma, again towards motherland if we go metaphorically. So that was...
Yeah, and that's clearly shown as well, because when he's arguing with the village elders and when he's saying कि abroad क्या क्या होता है, so there is very clear condescension in his voice and he's taking these people as very backward and everything. So वो तो है. Yeah.
Yeah, water, I don't want to steal Saurav's thunder because I know he wants to talk about it. But water particularly, there is a change. Bottled water गायब हुई है एक point पे,
Yes,
और वो
yes.
कुल्हड़ वाला पानी आया है. So that
Yes.
there was a
That
demarcation.
बच्चा.
I think कि there is a balance between his selfishness and guilt, जो मतलब transition होता है from first half to the second half. क्योंकि first half के end तक he is adamant कि गीता को बोलता है कि मैं लेके तो जाऊंगा कावेरी अम्मा को, whether you like it or not. बट फिर वो जैसे ही गिल्ट ट्रांसफर, क्योंकि कावेरी अम्मा सुन लेती है कि मतलब he wants to take me back and that's why she sends him to collect the payment.
Yeah.
और वैसे कर करके वो सेल्फिशनेस गिल्ट ओवरटेक कर लेता है कि लाइक आई एम
Actually,
केपेबल ऑफ चेंजिंग दीज थिंग्स, सो आई शुड वैसा.
कैरेक्टर कहीं से भी पेट्रियोटिक नहीं था फॉर द फर्स्ट थिंग आउट. लाइक अगर हम ये प्रूव करने की कोशिश करें कि कैरेक्टर अपनी धरती माता के लिए आया था, नहीं, वो एक सेल्फिश मोटिव के लिए आया था, इसमें कोई डाउट नहीं है, वो सेल्फिश ही था वो. बल्कि वहां आकर के भी जो कुछ भी कर भी रहा था कि गीता के स्कूल के लिए बच्चों को ढूंढ के लाना और ये सब करना, उस मोटिव तक भी वो सेल्फिश ही था. उसका और कोई मोटिव नहीं था, उसे कावेरी अम्मा को लेकर के ही जाना था. बट द थिंग इज दैट जब कावेरी अम्मा उसे उस जगह से उठा करके अपना एक काम करने के लिए भेजती हैं, एट दैट टाइम ही रियली कनेक्ट्स विद द ग्राउंड। वो जो जर्नी है उसकी, वो जो जर्नी है जब वो रामदास के पास पहुंचता है, और वो जो जर्नी है
हरिदास।
एट दैट टाइम, हरिदास सॉरी, तब वो जाकर के रियली कनेक्ट करता है, और अब जाकर के उसका सेल्फिश मोटिव साइड में रखता है, और जब वो लौट के आता है तब वो बताता है कि पैसे लेने की जगह वो पैसे देकर आ गया। So the thing is that director was clear that he is not here to serve the nation, no, but eventually he connects with the nation. So motive यहाँ पे कहीं पर भी डायरेक्टर का ये था ही नहीं कि जब वो स्कूल में बच्चे लेकर आ रहा है तो वो देश के लिए कुछ कर रहा है, नहीं। देश के लिए करने का जज्बा उसको बाद में जागता है, पोस्ट इंटरवल, जब वो उससे मिल करके आता है, तब उसको उसके अंदर वो चेंजेस आना शुरू होता है। आई गेस डायरेक्टर वाज वेरी क्लियर दैट कि मोटिव अलग, एक्सटर्नल डिजायर क्या है, कैरेक्टर की एक्सटर्नल डिजायर क्लियर है, उसे कावेरी अम्मा को लेकर के आना है, बट इंटरनल डिजायर वो नहीं है। इंटरनल डिजायर है बिकॉज ही इज नॉट फीलिंग कनेक्टेड, ही इज नॉट फीलिंग कनेक्टेड विद हिज मदरलैंड, और मे बी फ्रॉम वेयर ही बिलोंग्स टू, तो कहाँ बिलोंग करता है वो उसको कनेक्शन मिस हो रहा था। तो एक्सटर्नल डिजायर उसकी इंटरनल डिजायर से निकल के आ रही है। इंटरनल डिजायर है कि ही इज मिसिंग द कनेक्शन, ही इज मिसिंग द कनेक्ट विद फ्रॉम वेयर ही बिलोंग्स, एंड एक्सटर्नल डिजायर निकल के आ रही है कि वो कनेक्शन तब फील होगा जब मैं कावेरी अम्मा को लेकर के आ जाऊंगा। So that is what the character arc is. Anybody wants to add into character and their arc and in the interpersonal relationship? Anybody?
मेन कैरेक्टर को लेके नहीं है, साइड कैरेक्टर को है। देयर इज अ मेला, वाज इट मेला नाम? हाँ।
Mela Ram.
हाँ, तो ही वाज, आई फेल्ट ही वाज द कॉन्ट्रास्ट कैरेक्टर सबप्लॉट टू Mohan, because he was also, he made a choice to go abroad. He got the choice, he almost prepared up, but he made a decision to not go. And this happens just when there was an option for Mohan to stay back or to go, and that is when they come face to face. So there was that, the point of contrasting subplot is to emphasize the fact कि अच्छा वो जा रहा है और ये नहीं जा रहा है. So I felt that Melaram was there also to depict that.
मेरे को फीमेल लीड से भी प्रॉब्लम है। शी इज शोन एज द एपिटमी ऑफ भारतीय नारी विद नो फ्लॉज व्हाटसोएवर, एंड उसकी मेरे को बिल्कुल फ्लैट आर्क लगी। सो लाइक दैट इज माय प्रॉब्लम विद हर।
Oh, I thought that
Thakur बोलो।
कि there is no flaw तो उन्होंने रखा ही नहीं है. There is, she has issues.
रखा
She said
रखा है फ्लॉ।
exactly.
What?
She lied in the very start of the movie. She lied.
Yes,
She
I
was
was coming to that point.
so. Let me. Can I? When we are discussing character, let's discuss Gayatri. Um, actually, is that her name? Gayatri, right?
गीता।
गायत्री, ये
Yeah.
गीता नाम
गीता
गायत्री।
इज द नेम
गीता
ऑफ द
नाम है,
कैरेक्टर।
गायत्री उसका हीरोइन का नाम, एक्ट्रेस
गायत्री
का नाम
जोशी,
गायत्री।
गीता इज द
गायत्री
कैरेक्टर।
जोशी।
So,
गीता
Geeta's character is again going thematically about the film. So there are two type of patriotism that we see in the present time of the world. That there are NRI Indians. They have left the country. They root for the country. They always say that हमें वापस आना है, और maybe, or even if they don't say हमें वापस आना है, वो वहां पर झंडा फहराते हैं, वहां पर वो बड़ी बड़ी बातें करते हैं, देश के लिए पैसा भी भेजते हैं। दे वहां खड़े होकर के, मतलब टाइम्स स्क्वायर पे खड़े होकर के जनगण मन गाते हैं। लेकिन इफ यू आस्क देम वेदर दे विल कम बैक टू इंडिया, they might not like to come back to India. That's a problem. Then there is another sort of people who lives in India, who idealizes India, who says this is the greatest country in the world, who actually also say hamari sanskriti, hamari sabhyata, and living in a sense of little bit of a fake pride, and they a lot of them are also trying to make a change in the country also, but they are also want to hold on to the pride that has been given to them, right? So I personally think that this is a very beautiful this is a very beautiful comparison that has been made through the two different protagonists. The protagonist, the female, who actually even when try to start seeing that, oh, there is a solution to the problem, and this guy is actually bringing the solution to the problem and solving out things, but she's not happy because her sense of pride is stopping her. Her sense of pride is thinking, नहीं, मैं solution लाऊंगी, मैं करूंगी हर चीज को, और and her attachment to the motherland or Kaveri Amma is almost exploitative. But eventually, she realizes that what is good for Kaveri Amma is let her decide about it, you know. And when she falls in love with this guy, she started realizing that there is another side to the story as well, and she has to pull her ego, her pride, and very beautifully that has been shown in one scene. That is the classroom scene when she asks questions about geography. And it is so pride, she's so proud in that कि तुम्हें नहीं पता, मुझे पता है कंट्री के बारे में, मैं जानती हूँ, देखो तुम्हें कुछ नहीं पता. And then the scene reverses very beautifully when the kid goes and he tells everything about the country. So that balloon pride of the country has been represented by Geeta's character, and then eventually accepting the fact that there can be 100 other ways to work towards the betterment of the country. What is the nice twist that they give to the character, that in the end she still choose not to leave the country. So आपको ऐसा लगता है कि उसका ग्राफ फ्लैट है, बट उसका ग्राफ फ्लैट नहीं है, उसके ग्राफ में चेंज आया, बट वो एपिफेनी ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन इज नॉट गिवन टू द कैरेक्टर, because the epiphany transformation is what given to the Mohan's character, where he comes back, whereas she accepts that there can be other ways to develop this country. And सबसे बड़ी बात ये मोहन उसे दिखा देता है ये चीज कि they are constantly fighting for the bijli, but the bijli is not coming, and then Mohan tells there is a way that your can create the bijli. So she accepts the other POVs, other point of views by the end of the story.
I would just add one more thing to what Saurabh sir said. She has, I think, more flaws than Mohan in the movie, Geeta. Yet she has a lot of agency as a female lead, which we don't often see in our movies. और ऐसा नहीं होता कि मूवी जैसे जैसे एक्ट 2 और 3 में आती जाती है वो मतलब हीरो के पीछे पागल हो रही है, वो एट द एंड उसको अपने मतलब मोहन अपने प्यार को नहीं ठुकरा रहा है, उसके पहले गीता ने उसको ठुकरा दिया कि आई विल नॉट लीव द कंट्री फॉर यू. So even though she has flaws, and Saurabh sir rightly pointed that out कि उसका character flat नहीं है, it is a very internal change. She has a lot of agency which I like. Not just मोहन के साथ वो साथ में खड़ी है throughout the movie. कहीं भी ऐसा नहीं लगता कि गीता कम हो गई है, मोहन ज्यादा हो गया है, या मोहन कम है गीता ज्यादा है. They are constantly in a tussle, और end में they go their separate ways until मोहन वापस आता है. So in a way, Mohan came back not just for the motherland, but Geeta ke liye bhi. So that gave a even more agency to her. I like that. I like the female lead. That is why.
Swades got released, there is a lot of discussions happening around, and I was like intrigued by the movie. I read an article where someone has done a research and almost like asked so many questions from the NRI Indians whether they will come back to India after watching Swades. So one of the person said, Gayatri Joshi जितनी सुंदर लड़की
I remember.
तो आ जाऊंगा.
Already jumped to the third section without even knowing that we have jumped to. The third section is theme and motifs. Motifs is like how you covered or make the film beautiful, like how you things added to that. This is the core theme, and that's the motifs. So coming to that point, like we are already discussing in themes and motive, and Saurabh is basically going to explain what is the basic theme, that is water in this movie. When you were done with that part of the motive, I believe that's not the theme, but that's the motive. I will also add two more motives that director is having in this film, other than what you are trying to say. Water.
So I will like to add on the theme. I will still call it a theme of the film because, and this realization happens when I watched the Swadesh for the 5th time. I know it's impossible for Shobha to do that, but I did that. And so when you start, apart after the Mahatma Gandhi quote, the first thing that happens is a NASA scene where he's sending up a satellite. So why, again, the question comes, why that scene is there? And if you see in that scene, he's actually setting up a satellite that is actually going to tell about rainfalls or water इन कहाँ पानी आने वाला है, कहाँ पानी बरसने वाला है, उस चीज के बारे में. So actually in a search of water, he's sending up a satellite. So the water comes from the very first scene. Now when you actually move ahead, he comes to India and we see that he is looking for Kaveri Amma, but still he's not drinking the water that has been given by the country. He's drinking the packaged drinking water. But the theme doesn't stay there. The theme goes deeper because the search of the water is continuous. There, the moment where he actually has been, the कावेरी अम्मा अपनी दोस्त के साथ डिस्कस कर रही है और वो दोस्त उसको बोलती है, देखो ये लड़के को समझा देना, पानी की फितरत होती है, बर्फ की फितरत होती है अपने ही पानी में मिल जाना. एंड सच अ ब्यूटिफुल लाइन इट इज. बर्फ की फितरत होती है अपने ही पानी में मिल जाना, विच मीन्स दैट द बर्फ इज द solidified form of water, and the solidified form is nothing else but ego. And how we actually discussing the character, that when the character actually come in the start of the film, he has a certain amount of ego and condescending tone towards the thing. He actually becomes water by the end of it, when we see him actually मिट्टी जो है उसी पानी से निकाल रहा है. He has become water in the end. From that ice, that ego has melted down and he becomes water. Not only that, if you see the famous train scene that we all loved and we cried on, that is the scene where he first time drinks the water from a mitti ka cup. मतलब we all have seen that he is drinking the water, but have we realized that it is मिट्टी का cup? Because वो मिट्टी का cup means आपकी मिट्टी का पानी. और वो when he drinks, there is a water again in his eyes. And then we see the real transformation starts happening to him. And then at that moment also, when after दशहरा जब बिजली जाती है, तो उस मोमेंट पर भी ही सेट की बिजली वापस लेकर के आते हैं. और बिजली भी वो कैसे लेकर आता है? थ्रू पानी. So the water is something that is a very constant theme that has been explored. And even when he reaches to USA, we see it one morning when ये जो देश है तेरा song चल रहा होता है, he puts his legs down and he misses the water. He missed the water feel that he had in the village. So, so the whole film has been beautifully shown that जब एक बर्फ बनती है पहाड़ों पे, जो कि इट्स अ हाइट, इट्स एक्चुअली सिग्निफाइंग अ सॉर्ट ऑफ सुपीरियरिटी, but every ice melts down and comes back to the sea in a form of a river. And that's the journey of that's exactly the journey of Mohan Bhargav. He is in the top form and then he comes back to just light the bulb in a smaller village of India. So the theme,
In the end, he's actually bathing in the pond, right? If I
correct,
remember correctly.
correct,
The ending.
correct.
Yeah, that's
And
nice.
he's like, that's why वो जो फितरत है पानी, फितरत है आदमी की पानी में मिल जाना, वो उन्होंने फिगरेटिवली भी दिखाया है. Yes, Gaurav, you want to say something?
जब सबसे पहली बार पानी का मेंशन होता है, जब वो बोलता है कि बहुत सारे देश हैं जहां पानी की कमी होने वाली है और वो अगर हम ये सैटेलाइट नहीं भेजेंगे तो वो कुछ टाइम में वो